Hello friends and welcome back to my shop. Last week was a busy one, this coming week is even more busy, so let's get right into it. So this last week I was working on the Fluux bodies. We did them in copper, we did them in brass, I did them with patinas. They came out amazingly. I will put video here so you don't just have to listen to me, the pen shill, tell you what to think. They came out super cool. The brass ones, I did some in the blacken finish, and I changed the process. I basically did a 3-step cleaning process before doing the blackening. And they came out damn near flawless. Every time I make a pen, I try to either improve upon the machining or the finishing or just something to constantly be pushing each design better and better and better and better. This particular version, I decided to just spend a bunch of time doing different I say a bunch of time cleaning it. I didn't. I put it in the ultrasonic cleaner. That's the new thing I have. I think that's basically the main reason it did so much better, but then I basically degreased it and then did a final cleaning before applying the patina process to it, and it just produced a crazy uniform finish. Maybe that's not what people want. Maybe people want that slightly mottled finish, kind of more unique. These ones are just like dead perfect, just like a flawless graphite finish across the pen, which looks good now, but once you have it in your pocket and like it wears through and some of the base metal starts to peek through, like on the grips and the edges and any of the hard surfaces or the hard corners, that's the first area that's slowly going to wear away. It's going to look amazing. The brass ones are going to look cool. I did one in copper too that's blackened, which oddly enough came out to the almost exact same shade of black. That one's going to look just super cool, like copper peeking through the black. Whew. I didn't want to sell that one. I just want to keep that one, but anyway, it'll be online. Along with those, we did the subnautic finishes. I did them on the brass, which always come out looking wild like they do. I did copper. I don't normally do copper in the subnautic finish because I've just never had enough copper units to kind of throw this into the process. The finish or the process I use to do that subnautic finish is, it takes long. It takes me about 3 or 4 days to apply that finish. And if it goes wrong, it just goes wrong. Like it eats in the metal so far, you can't just machine it off. Like it's done. The copper ones turned out really cool. I thought they would go green. They went like wild blue, like copper sulfate blue. Kind of makes sense, I guess, when you think about it. But yeah, nothing I expected, which is kind of part of the magic of the process. Both those will all be clear coated. The heavy patina pens, I always clear coat just to try to retain that finish as long as possible. I find if I don't, it wears off in about a year's time, bumping around in your pocket. With a clear coat on it, lasts much longer. So those will be available on the site as well eventually, because one thing I'm trying to figure out, or one thing I want to include with it, is a tool. So last week you saw me talking about making the new titanium end screws. We did that. They worked out amazing. I basically made a bunch of them. It's a little titanium screw, the exact size as the set screw in the back. And I had to make it magnetic. That's the point of the Fluux pens, the magnet or the cap post to the rear of the pen with magnetism. Steel, that's easy. Steel has iron in it, so it's magnetic. I tried a stainless variant that was slightly magnetic, but it never worked out, so I never ended up producing that. The titanium ones, obviously titanium is not magnetic, so I had to embed a magnet inside the cap. And to do that, I had to get a specific sized magnet that would fit between the minor diameters and not be too long for the cap, because I want this to be backwards and forwards compatible. Anyways, got it all sorted out, machined it, came out beautifully. I put a slotted drive in there because that's easier to work with, and quite honestly, it's a lot easier for me to machine. The whole point of the Fluux pen was to keep it as a relatively low price pen without compromising quality, and to machine any kind of other drive into the back end right now is a little bit high on my skill set. Like if I want to put like a nice Torx driver, I have to use very small end mills, and the likelihood of failure, especially going through titanium, just slotted drive, easy, robust, looks great, and it's fairly economical for me to do as well. So then I can keep the price relatively low for you. The side benefit of being made out of titanium now is that I can anodize them all kinds of crazy colors. So I have some in blue, I have some in purple, I have some in raw finish. I'm also, every Fluux pen sold from now on or going forward will have a titanium screw in the back end. If you want a titanium screw for one of your Fluux pens, if you have one and you want to upgrade it because titanium is cool, I will also have them available on my site. I'm just working out basically shipping rates. I don't want to ship you a screw in my giant shipping box because you'll pay more in shipping than you will for the actual product. So I'm probably going to sell it in just like small bubble mailers with a kind of cool doohickey to keep everything nice and constrained inside. That'll be coming up in probably the next week or two. I built enough to sell, so I just gotta work out the logistics and shipping it now. But yeah, very happy with those. Came out great. Moving on. The one thing that I don't like is I don't like shipping something to somebody that requires a tool. Like when you buy my bolt action pens, you get all the tools to take it apart. My Flux pens, it always had the 3D printed tool to take the old Allen set screw out of the back, or Allen keyed hex drive. The new ones with the slotted drive, yes, you could technically just use like the edge of a coin or a butter knife or something to take it out, but that's just, it's not proper. And the fact that it's titanium and if it's anodized, maybe you don't want to be rambling around there with something steel and marring up the anodized. So I figured what I'll do is I'll include a little brass driver with each pen. Basically it's a piece of CNC cut brass, and I'll tumble a bunch of them. And that way you'll be able to take that screw in and out. Brass being much softer than titanium, it's not going to mar the finish, even if you're a little heavy-handed with it. And it just basically gives you that same one-stop solution. You can just, whatever I ship to you, you can take the whole pen apart, change refills, do what you like. You don't have to go search for something else. I like that better. It's going to delay me about a day or so, but that's what I'll be working on next. So, moving on. I wrote myself a list so I don't forget what I'm talking about. So, with all that production out of the way, the other thing I was taking care of this week was basically the logistics of shipping and all that stuff. So typically when I sell a pen, I ship it in a big box. And branding those boxes is important to me. There's branding I want to do and things I want to change going down the road, but just baby steps. I can't put the cart ahead of the horse. I can't have good packaging if I don't have product to put in the packaging. So right now I'm working on the product and slightly the packaging and just kind of a balance. So basically what I did is I laser cut a new stamp for the bottom of my shipping boxes, something a little more large, a little more robust, and that way it looks pretty. Laser cut that on like Friday night, and then I started stamping boxes, and it was just going so well. I was so happy with the way it was turning out. I stamped every box I own. So now that is all taken care of. All I got to worry about is the inside of the box, and that's already figured out. The printing for the labels and the foam cutting and all that stuff. That's already organized. I'm not worried about that anymore. So that's kind of something just off my mind now. I don't got to think about branding each box when I ship it. I can just grab a box and go. So it sounds so minor, but when you're everything, when you're the floor sweeper and the video editor and the picture taker and the machinist guy and the shipping guy and the drive to the store to drop the boxes off guy, everything adds up, and just any kind of minor jump you can make makes life so much easier. And that brings us up to now. So basically what I'm going to be working on this week, along with getting the brass pieces and the pictures and whatever for the fluxes that are produced. The next thing I'm working on is basically the bolt actions. All these, I've basically just produced minis up till now. The next request I've had was basically, can I fit a different refill in here? Specifically the like Parker style refill. So that covers like the Schmidt Easy Flow 9000 style refill, which is the refill that I like. Also works with the Space Pen, as long as you have a little adapter piece that ships with each Space Pen refill you buy. So I resized basically this pen to work with that, 0.6, I mean, I can look on the drawing right behind you, about 0.6 inches longer, and then that accommodates all the Parker style refills. That'll be the next thing I'm working on. It'll ship with the Easy Flow 9000 because that's just a premium writing refill. I'm a big fan of it, and I have a decent amount of those. That's what's coming up next. I have a bunch of really cool stuff in the works. If you follow me on Instagram, I've kind of been alluding to some of it. Some really interesting materials I'm excited to play with. We're going to eventually be doing a titanium one of these. I don't know when that's coming, but that's something else I'm working on. Just all kinds of fun. Thank you guys so much for watching, as always, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.